All of your favorite draft pundits are absolutely wrong. They're just filling screen time that they're getting paid way too much money um, to give you really no analysis and no real input. Find out why on this episode of Sure Buddy. Omar, how
What's
are you
up,
doing?
man? I'm good, man. I'm good. First, everyone, please like and subscribe this one. This one's going to be a little controversial just because I feel like we're going against the grain here. I feel like everyone is just all over every single prospect is like the next big thing. So
Yeah.
I just want to really temper some expectations and really kind of dive into who we think are actually overrated prospects. So I'll give you the first one here, Jay. Tell me what you think about Ashton Genty, who's been mocked a lot to your Raiders.
Yeah, Ashton is he's kind of been came out of nowhere for me. Once the Geno thing happened, then it really like took off. I think over the last 3 or 4 days, I've checked about a dozen different mock drafts, and everyone has Ashton Genty fallen to us. Ashton Genty has some pretty cool measurables. Like if you just look at his size, he profiles to be like a kind of big, shorter but big bruiser type, roughly 5'9", 215 ish. You mentioned that he's got great balance, so kind of like gyroscopic balance. He's able to continue to make plays after contact, stay on his feet. There's a few reasons why I think that we're being like a little bit too crazy about him. And like to say like first of all, I want to make something really clear for him. I don't know if this is how we're gonna feel about the other two, but I'm just saying pump the brakes a little bit. Like we're talking about taking a running back sixth overall. We're talking about a team that was being projected to trade up to number one for a quarterback is now going to stand pat and take, a 5'9", 215 running back who is great after contact, but who was contacting him for one?
Yeah.
This is the probably the biggest thing is, it's not like he was getting hit by NFL defenders. So NFL level defenders, when he goes up against some of these guys, genuinely concerned for him because I don't think there's going to be all the like spinning around and getting your balance and dancing around and then having time to recover. If you look at him, he has so much time to recover after the initial contact. All the clips that you see him doing those like making those like miraculous runs after being hit, there's no one following through, and that's not going to happen in the NFL. They're going to swarm to the ball. You're going to see the NFL defense is obviously at a much faster pace than college is played. I think there's a lot more reaction in college that you don't see in the NFL. In the NFL, runs are planned to X part of the field, and that part of the field, you've got defenses who have a first, a second, and sometimes a third guy who are prepared to make the play on the ball. And not just that, you have just ball hawks on every team who are getting ready to follow through on after the initial contact. So that's one big concern that I have. Another one is that he can't really catch the ball, and you're really hindering yourself when you don't have that dual skill set running back, right? So it really limits the amount of like different types of looks you're going to be able to put them in, how you're going to be able to utilize them. They're not going to be a very dynamic player for you. And then finally, it's just a positional thing. It's just not advisable when you don't have a respectable offensive line to invest draft capital in a running back at that level at the sixth overall pick. What that means is what's probably most likely going to happen is this kid's going to get hurt. He's going to have a rough year. He's not going to have the holes developed for him that he needs to be successful. And then finally, I mean, I think the biggest thing is I see you've mentioned it too, comparisons to like Alvin Kamara, and he just ain't that. And so if Alvin Kamara was drafted where?
Second round, I think.
Second round, yeah, he was a
Yeah.
second round pick, and you're going to take this guy top six, and I think most people that watch him agree he's not Alvin Kamara. I mean, speaks for itself.
Here's my thing. One, he played at Boise State. So, like you said, playing against not the SEC level future NFL players.
No,
So, level of competition is way low. He had 23 catches all of last year, which is for like 138 yards. That's not
it's concerning.
and a top 10 running back, he's not a Saquon. I think who else was I'm trying to think who else what other running backs were picked that high. I
Bijan,
think Bijan, he's not a Bijan. Bijan was number 7, so it would be one pick higher. Then you
Brees.
have like
Was Brees
Brees
picked
was
that high?
no, Brees was
No,
25.
Brees was, yeah.
Yeah.
Was Dion, sorry, the Lions running back. Gosh, why am I
Gibbs.
drawing a blank? Yeah, Jameer Gibbs.
Jameer Gibbs,
Jameer Gibbs was
he
picked
was like 12 or
10,
13 or
11.
something. Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that.
So
Outside the top 10. So,
better guys are being picked later,
yep,
and the guys that are being picked around there, around where he is, are all better than he is.
100%. And Kamara is not an apt. Kamara is a freak in terms of contact balance. He's a wide receiver level skills catching the ball. He had a dope one-handed catch last year.
Insane athleticism.
Yeah,
And I don't see Genti having that level of athleticism
no, he doesn't
either.
have that breakaway speed that Gibbs has. He doesn't have that strength or like Bijan or Saquon has just to kind of get through that first level, break a tackle, and
I
then
don't think
go
he
and
has that
outrun
ability to make
people.
that like lateral move to just like, just pop to the side and then just break loose.
And
I
I don't
haven't seen
even,
that from him.
he didn't do anything at the combine that I can think of. So we don't have a 40 time
Nope.
on him. I mean, but his 40 is he probably run like a four, four,
For
four, high four fours and
for
see.
close to a four or
And
five.
yeah. And then, they're like, oh yeah, he's fast enough. No one's catching him. Like, look who, but yeah, you had like San Jose State was they were playing against the future engineers that were trying to tackle him. So I just don't get the hype. I think there you can definitely get maybe not equal value, but just as close in the second or even the third round of running backs. You just
Yeah.
find some
Yeah.
skills,
Yeah.
put them into behind a good O line, and let them run. I think for the Raiders, they have much more needs than just they do need a running back. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
they need more talent or more blue chip players. So I think they could do better if they traded down and got Genty. That'd be ideal. But at 6 or even top 10, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Next up, we had T.
yep, yep. One person that I've always kind of watched and had watched their analysis on wide receivers was is Steve Smith. Steve Smith is spot on when he comes to receivers. He dogged Jerry
Yeah.
Judy. Judy had a great season last year, but he's just not a number one wide receiver. He's not a CD Lamb level wide receiver. He even at the combine, I think Steve Smith was like Cooper Cup is a stud, and it was
Yep.
like
Yep.
that was like a great call out, like super early. He and Steve Smith came out with an analysis on T Mac and said that he's just he doesn't have the full route tree. He's just a jump ball wide receiver, which is good, but it's not like he's Mike Evans. Mike Evans is people compare him a lot because the same body type, but Mike Evans is a complete receiver, and
Yeah, he
uh,
is.
so
I saw Steve Smith's analysis as well, and I'm also a big fan of him. Like he's always spot on, and he's usually the first one. But like, there's so much like T-Mac. Like T-Mac's projected to be the first wide receiver, true wide receiver off the
true
board.
wide receiver.
And it's kind of at first I was on board, but then I started watching some of his video and like digging deeper, and yeah, he really is pretty damn slow. Like he's basically got slightly less of a route tree than DK. He's smaller than DK, less like athletic and strong than DK, and slower than DK. And DK is not a great wide receiver.
Yeah,
Like DK's I don't know if he's a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL today.
he's not.
As it stands, like he's not. And so you're definitely getting a lesser wide receiver than a guy that's not even in the top 10 right now. And I just think that's a terrible, terrible, terrible prospect. Like if you mess up a top 10 wide receiver pick and you like really blow it, like that hurts. That screws you up for quite some
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
And so I just whoever picks him, man, good luck. Again, I don't think. The scary thing is that the Raiders are potentially like a destination for him. So that's two of two so far. Where I mean, this draft could end up pretty badly for us if we bite on one of these two guys. But I'm all the way out on T Mac, man. Like he's great if you can pick him up in the second round, but they're projecting top 10.
Yeah, I mean, I take a late first on him if I was even the Bills GM at 30.
The This isn't the year to draft a wide receiver, by the way.
Yeah.
Like not in the first round. It's just not the year.
There are, I mean, I think Matthew Golden's a pretty solid. He's a little bit smaller, but he's good. I think Burden's a little overrated.
He's small, man.
I mean, I'll take any Ohio State wide receiver to be honest. I think
Burden is
that
short and he has small hands, so that's
yeah, super small hands.
I don't know if I love that. And then Golden is probably the best prospect, and I love where he's projected to go right now.
Is that
He's projected to go to my adopted team, to the
oh, the
Rams.
Rams? But what are they gonna do? Play three wide receivers with Devontae, Puka, and Golden,
I
and
mean,
Tutu Atwell? Tutu?
I don't think Devontae's a long-term answer.
Yeah.
I don't think they really need to pick a defensive player in the first round. I think they've made some great moves there. So it would really either be that or offensive line, maybe a DB, but I don't know that where they're picking, they're going to have
Yeah.
the BPA is not going to be a defensive back at that point. So Golden might be the BPA at that stage of the draft.
Yep. Let's see.
So I definitely much prefer Golden over T-Mac and very much don't think that any team in the top half probably should be picking a wide receiver this year, but obviously that's not what's going to happen.
Yeah. I think T Mac, his ceiling is Cortland Sutton. I think Sutton's better, but I
Yeah.
think he maxes out as. But
Yeah.
is Cortland Sutton worthy of a first round pick? I don't think so.
Absolutely not. He played a little bit like a first round pick of this past season for a few games.
Yep.
He had a flash with the rookie quarterback, but that's about his seal. That's about T-Mac's ceiling, I think.
And then I'll save the best one for last here because people are gonna be up in arms because you know how I feel. But I'll let you go first. What do you think about Travis Hunter, wide receiver slash cornerback?
Well, I mean, you can't make everyone happy. Some people are always going to be up in arms, so it is what it is, right?
Yep.
I mean, this guy's for people that are like making a big deal about him. I really would love to know. Maybe you can let us know in the comments. How many games did you watch Travis Hunter play? Because so many people just rave about him, and then I hear so much generic shit about like why he's going to be great. Like, oh yeah, dual talent never been done before. Like that's just I just keep hearing the same shit. Like I don't think that anyone that actually watches college football, and not to say that I'm like a huge college football fan, but anyone that actually watches college football can say that this guy is the best DB in this draft class.
Yeah.
So he's not the best cornerback. And if anybody were to make the argument that he's the best wide receiver, I mean, it would probably just, I don't know that I would maybe disagree necessarily, but I don't think that's a good thing either. It might just be by default because the other guys are not that good.
It's a
So
redraft.
if he was being drafted in like even last year's wide receiver class, like if he was a wide receiver going in last year's wide receiver class, he might have gone in the second round as a wide receiver. And like honestly, what like I don't know. Looking at last year's draft, right? I'm gonna say this, and you tell me whether you agree. If Travis Hunter was in last year's draft, you legitimately could have taken Cooper DeJean over Travis Hunter.
No, I take Cooper DeJean. He was a stud, and Cooper DeJean was a second round pick. Yeah,
And now,
Cooper
knowing
DeJean.
what we know, if they win in the same draft class, you would pick Cooper DeJean first, right?
Sure, absolutely.
Absolutely. He's a better he's a better defensive back. So there's nothing in Travis's skill set. He's an amazing athlete. Like he's a he's kind of like a I would say once in a lifetime athlete, but there's others that have kind of approximated that. Like I mean, we've had Dion in our lifetime, but he's a generational athlete. He's a great talent. But dude, like third overall for when was the last time a defensive back was drafted third overall?
I think it was Stingley, Derek
Okay, and
Stingley, who
that
just got paid.
That's pretty fair, actually. He's pretty great, but I don't. He's Derek Stingley is better than Travis Hunter.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, like I
So
mean,
here's my thing. I think this is all kind of, and I think the blame lies with the success that Shohei Otani's had. To
yeah, for
show that
sure.
somebody who can dominate two sides of a sport and complete, but baseball and football are two very different things.
Totally
Dion did
different
it,
sports
yes,
now.
but he played like 5 snaps on offense and returned punts.
Hmm.
Who else has done it and been like a stud wide receiver or a stud cornerback while playing the other? None.
It's a gimmick, dude.
Yeah, it's 100% a gimmick, and I think I made this comparison earlier. I think he tops out at a Jerry Judy type wide receiver. If you watch his, most people, like you said, are watching highlights on ESPN or on X and seeing the crazy plays that he makes. But it's not like he was putting up. I don't think he was even nominated for the Blitnikoff Award or something like that, which is the best wide receiver in college football. But
Yeah.
he's not a stud, and he's good. He's a crazy athlete. I'm not trying to knock the guy, but I just think that he's not what people are saying. He's generational talent because he plays both ways. I think that'll end up hurting him more than helping him. I mean, even look at Shohei. He hurt his elbow, right, and he couldn't pitch for a whole year. And football is way more violent of a sport, so
Hmm.
don't wish injury on anyone. But it's not something that I would want to even have to deal with. And the whole media circus. Why don't you play him on defense? Why don't you play him on offense more? It's gonna be just kind of a nightmare situation, I
Yeah,
think.
and especially if he lands in like a place like New York, where like the lights are a little bit brighter, the media's a little bit crazier. There's going to be no winning. The fans are going to be like, if they start losing a few games, the fans aren't going to be forgiving. There's going to be memes and all this shit. Like, yeah, man, drafting Travis Hunter early to me has it's dangerous. Like, it's just got like media circus written all over it.
Yep, I couldn't agree more, man. Well, that's all the prospects I really wanted to go over. People that who are just completely head over heels in love
Hmm.
with these people. Like,
Yeah.
man, I cannot watch Lewis Riddick anymore. He literally just thinks every
Yeah.
prospect is the best prospect out there.
Yeah, it's the ESPNification of the NFL draft. It's
Yeah, they're
just,
too scared to say
it's,
anything negative.
yeah, it's more of a circus than anything. They just want you to, like, they want you to tune in and be shocked, basically.
Yeah,
So that's what they're building up for. But don't
I
buy
think
the
they're
hype.
too. Yeah,
Don't buy
they're
the
too
hype.
scared of freezing cold takes. Someone coming back later on when you say something bad about him, and then he does a crazy good play, and like, look, you weren't a believer, and
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But
But we
yeah,
have nothing
don't
to
buy the
lose, so
hype.
that's why we say these things.
Yeah, speak from the heart. All right, brother. Good one.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. Join us next time.